Hello and welcome everyone to our blind lager tasting channel. Today we're gonna taste a couple beers from Pilsner Urquell. Actually, 3 of these lagers are brewed in the same facility as Pilsner Urquell, and we have a 4th one, Kozel, that's also internationally sold, which is brewed in a different facility, but it's the same owner as Pilsner Urquell. So in some way, these beers are all connected to one another. These 3 are brewed at the same facility as the famous one, and the 4th one that is very closely related to the other 3. A little bit about us before we start the tasting. I've been a brewer for a couple of years now. We together have been blind tasting lagers for several years now, and we have a method to tasting these lagers and pick up those small differences. And the method we came up with is that we taste these beers blindly. To us, it's gonna be completely unknown which beer will be in which glass, and so we can go through these beers and taste them with no expectations. To sum up why we think it's important is because whenever you pick up a can of beer, you already go in with an expectation. So if we were just to go, okay, tonight we're gonna be tasting Pilsner Urquell, let's have a sample, let's smell it. We already go into the tasting with expectations, Pilsner Urquell being such a famous beer. But if we do this blindly, the expectations are out of the window, and we can taste these beers going in completely objectively. First, let's go through these beers. Let's introduce them one by one. Pilsner Urquell might be really well-known beer that has been exported to countless countries, and you can pretty much find this anywhere in the world. But they have a big promise. They say that every can and every bottle, they're all brewed in Pilsen. And there is this brewery that is called, well, if you rotate the can, it will say Plzeňský Prazdroj, which is the name of the brewery where Pilsner Urquell is made. Something to know about this beer, well, it's the first ever pale lager that was brewed. And it's been brewed by the same recipe since 1842, at least that's what they say. And what we know about that recipe, well, we know it's 100% Moravian malt and 100% Czech Zás hops. It's pretty much as they tell us about the recipe. This is 4.4% ABV, 40 IBUs, which pretty much in the ballpark of an IPA, and original gravity of 12 Platos, which means that when this beer was started to ferment, 12% of that liquid was sugar. Okay, so next up, in the Czech Republic, this is a familiar brand. Gambrinus is also brewed in Slovakia. Gambrinus is actually a very, very cheap beer that's brewed at the same location as Pilsner Urquell. It is an everyday lager, which is, as you can see, the 12 indicates the same original gravities, but it's with a different hop. So the hops that they use is Sladek hops. These are less familiar hop variant than the Zás that they're using here. They're saying that this Sladek hop is more herbal, spicy, and floral, so we might be picking up some of those notes. And they say it's triple hopped, which can simply just mean that during the boiling, there was 3 moments when the hops were added. They also say that this beer was made with 3 types of malts: Pils, roasted, and caramel malts, whereas Pilsner Urquell is supposed to be just 100% Pils. Moving on to the third one, Excelent. It is brewed also in the same facility as Pilsner Urquell. It is, the 11 indicates that it is an 11 Plato, that's original gravity, so it might be a little less sweet than the others. What we know about this beer is also triple hopped. We don't exactly know what hops they use, they just say that it's Czech. And they say that it's a late hopping. They say they have an addition of hops after the cattle boil is finished, which means that it's like a very, very late addition. It's 4.7 ABV, and that's pretty much as much as they tell us. Lastly, we have Kozel. It's a different facility, Velké Popovice Brewery. It's very close to Prague. But again, it's the same family of breweries as Pilsner Urquell, owned by Asahi. the Japanese brewing giant. And what we know about Kozel is that they sell this under license in many, many countries. You can find it in Canada, America, you can find it in Slovakia, you can find it in Hungary, and of course the original in Czech Republic. Now, I wanted to include this in the tasting because it very closely related to these beers. So it might be interesting to see if we can pick this one out. This is the only one that hasn't been brewed in the same building as these three. What we know about the Mistruv, it's actually a special edition Kozel. It's also 12 Plato's original gravity, 4.8% ABV. They use 4 types of malts: Pilsner, Munich, caramel malts, and roasted malts. And they use 2 types of hops, Premiant and Marinka, which has the characteristic of herbal, grassy, and the latter one has a little bit of peppery, light floral character. So if we can pick up some pepper or floral, it might be the Mistruv. Okay, so let's begin our tasting. What we're gonna do first is I'm gonna pour these beers, and we can, while Vicky is leaving, and when she comes back, she's gonna mix up these glasses. The color can also be a giveaway. So what I'm trying to prevent right now is for me to see the color. Okay, these cans are gonna be moved over to the side so we can have a good view of the glasses, and then this as well. And I'm gonna leave now. Vicky's gonna mix them up. Okay, we're back. So now we can reveal these beers.
Oh, can I do it?
Remove the socks. So now it's great because I like this method because now really, I mean, just look at these.
Oh,
they're very similar in color, but I have no idea which one's which. Sometimes in the near future, we're gonna taste beers that's gonna be lighter, darker, and it will be so easy to give away when you're pouring. You see what it is. So yeah, actually very similar colors that we can see. So luckily we can't really tell.
Maybe this is a bit lighter if you're like looking really closely.
Yeah. A little bit about our method. What we're gonna do is go one by one, and we're gonna swirl it a little bit, smell it, and then we're gonna taste it, and I'm gonna give you all the feedback to you live as we do it. And we're gonna go one by one, and we're also gonna rate it as we go, and at the very end we're gonna do an order of which one we love the most and the least, and then we're gonna try to match them what we see, and then we're gonna reveal. So let's start.
But before we start, don't forget to ring the bell. That was terrible.
Okay, so number 1.
Sweet and sour at the same time. Definitely has a soury smell. But I pick up more sweet as well at the end. So fruity and florally, and that's it.
Okay. And then
pretty basic.
I fully agree. That there isn't much really apart from caramelized sugar. It's kind of sweet, caramelly, and a bit floral. Let's do the tasting.
But don't you think it has like a soury smell as well?
Fun fact, all beers are acidic. So during fermentation, that pH drops quite drastically to, anywhere to low 4s.
Definitely worse for taste. Smelled better. I'm not that impressed. It's not bad.
It's now that it warms up, and also an interesting fact about beer, but like with any other liquid, as it warms up, it releases more aroma. Sometimes when we taste something, by the time we get to the end and to taste the first one again, you pick up more and more notes. Now I can definitely pick up more like grainy notes.
I wonder what you think.
Well, so it has a mild bitterness, but also it's quite dry, as in it's not really sweet. Not a lot of residual sweetness. It is
not my fave.
I don't know, it's not really good.
No. It was a disappointment to me.
Yeah, it's I think we can do better than that.
Shortly. Okay. Let's concentrate on the next contender. So definitely sweeter smell. I would say almost biscuity, or like a lingering aroma of the kitchen when you bake something. You know, that cozy smell.
Well, As we mentioned before, some of these beers have caramel and roasted malts.
Definitely roasted.
So,
sure.
so roasted malts can have that impact on the flavor, where you pick up some of that biscuity aroma before even tasting it. Yeah,
Definitely more pleasant than the first one.
it's there, but it's also pretty subtle.
Oh, not again. Doesn't live up to the expectations. The bitterness is okay. Yeah, I don't know. I expected more. It has a weird aftertaste too.
In many ways, it's similar to the first one. It has very low sugar. The bitterness is even lower than the first one. This is a very average, everyday brew. This could be good for, you know, if you want something simple to drink at the end of the day, but none of these two really stand out to me. Let's move on. So far, honestly, these are very average brews.
Okay, so this is incredibly sharp.
Sharp and
Sulfury. Diacetyl.
Okay. So there are two things there. Sulfur, when you have that eggy, sulfury aroma that comes from the yeast.
And it's not pleasant. I mean, some people die for it, but I don't think it's pleasant at all.
And diacetyl is also an off flavor, except when it comes to Czech beers, because Czech beers, Bohemian lagers, a little bit of diacetyl is actually desirable in these styles.
So it has like kind of like a wet mop smell, or like a wet, moldy cellar.
Okay.
Doesn't mean that it's gonna be bad though. Unpleasant smell can be a great taste too.
It definitely has lots of diacetyl. That is a big standout. Now we have to know about Pilsner Urquell. It is incredibly diacetyl heavy, but also we have to know that Kozel is typical of diacetyl.
Well, taste-wise, it's very smooth. I can tell you that. So the smell is terrible in my opinion, because like I just don't like that smell. But pretty smooth and balanced. Definitely a way better concoction than the previous two.
So interesting. It's you don't like the smell, but you like the flavor. So the first two characters that you can look for in the flavor of a lager, it could be drinkability, how sweet it is, how dry it is, and how balanced the bitterness is to the flavor. And to me, it's very balanced. Like you said,
it's surprisingly good. Like after that off-putting flavor.
Very nice drinkability. The sweetness is good. It's perfectly balanced with the bitterness. So overall, it's a great lager to sip on all night. But let's see the last one.
Okay, so remember how previously I said that that's like very off-putting, but definitely diacetyl? This is the other end of the spectrum where it still has the diacetyl, but it's more, instead of the wet mop, disgusting smell, it's more actually the buttery popcorn, which is a more pleasant way of describing the same thing, but it also is a huge difference because like this is like something I could smell, you know? So yeah, definitely that, and a bit of fruitiness too.
Okay.
For good measure. But yeah, that's it. Not off-putting at all. Kind of pleasant.
I do agree. There is diacetyl and it's a little bit buttery, but also pleasant fruitiness. So this is a big contender for being Pilsner Urquell, but let's do the taste.
I'm curious. Wow, it's good. It's a good one. Almost like no aftertaste, which is, in my opinion, is a good thing, right? Because like that's how you can drink a bunch.
It's clear and smooth flavors.
It's incredibly smooth. So overall, my favorite for sure, because it's way better. Because like if you want to have like the full experience, like smelling the beer but also tasting it, it's not good if it's off-putting smell, but then you know the taste is okay. Like maybe you wouldn't want to repeat that. But this is like wholesome.
Wholesome.
Yeah, it is wholesome.
Damn.
Have a bite.
It's a good beer.
It is good. But now the big question, which is your fave? You think that's still better?
This is Pilsner Urquell.
Oh wow. I wonder what I like.
It is.
Yeah, but to me this is way too much.
Yeah, well that's Pilsner Urquell.
This is a more subtle version, which means it's not gonna be like ugh. It's gonna be like I understand these flavors or notes or whatever. But so could it be Kozel then?
That would be my guess. But let's just finish our ratings. What you're saying is that your favorite was number 4, right?
Yeah, I think so. Do you know what? It's so funny. But my ranking is like 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
So we don't even have to shuffle.
Okay, well, that's going to be easy to follow.
Never happens.
And now we're going to try to figure out which one can be which. I'm pretty certain that these two are going to be these. Mm-hmm. And these two are going to be these. Now, this one you said it's a little more biscuity. Now, biscuity can be, but it also has a little bit of bubble gum now that it just, and this one doesn't. So if you want to try to figure out which one these can be, well, Excelent has a little bit more late hopping, which means that, you know, the later you hop a beer, the more aroma remains in the solution. These could be different, but if I'm going with that logic, I would say that probably this is Excelent because it's a little more floral, a little more aromatic to me. And this was just my opinion, but let's do the reveal. So number 4, coming out number 4 as the worst of this whole selection was number 3. It's Excelent.
Wow.
And so it's interesting because I picked up more hop aroma from this than that. And sometimes, you know, just because you add something later, because we don't see the recipe, you know, this could be just like a pinch of hops at the very end. So this was just sort of like trying to figure out what they, at the website, you know, talk to the story of the beer. But sometimes it doesn't resonate with the end result. But we did manage to figure out that Excelent is somewhere here. If your logic is good with the biscuit, this could be it, because what we found about Gambrinus is that they're using roasted and caramel malt. So let's see, number 3 was number 4, and that is actually Kozel.
Wow.
So
What a surprise.
that is surprising. Because what we know about Kozel is that they're using Munich caramel roasted. So actually what you picked up,
The roastiness.
the nose, the roastiness, that caramel, that biscuity flavor, it's actually coming from that little bit of roasted malt.
Interesting.
It has a great hop character, and they're using Premiant and Marinka hops, and those are smelling great.
Okay.
So moving on, number 2 is, as I suspected, it's Pilsner Urquell.
Oh, yay.
So yeah, that is, you know, you can just smell a Pilsner Urquell out of 100 beers. It just has a very unique, distinct, buttery character. And the thing is, when you dissect a beer like that, when you smell it in a taco glass like that, it can be a little off-putting. But when you have a cold, you know, dimple mug of Pilsner Urquell, you know, tapped the right way with the right foam, just feels great. It's just, you're not smelling it. Those dimple mugs are not for these sort of tests that we're conducting here. So,
But you know what this means again.
and which means is that the cheapest lager triumphed here.
I mean, I have a history of liking the cheapest of them all, which that's why we're doing the blind tasting, because otherwise I would be pretentious pretty much.
And so this is why I think it's a really interesting test to blind taste something, because
That's
if we were
amazing.
to try this beer just by taking a glass, pouring it out and tasting it like that, I would probably go in with the assumption that this is one of the cheapest lagers in the Czech Republic. This is probably not going to be that good, but in reality, you know, this is quite a tasty lager, in many ways resembling Pilsner Urquell. So yeah, that was it. That was our tasting on beers from the Pilsner Urquell facility, plus Kozel from Velké Popovice. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode and join us later when we're gonna blind taste other lagers. And don't forget to subscribe, because we're gonna have some really interesting episodes down the line.
And don't forget to grab a beer yourself.
Yeah, because we're gonna just finish these off in a heartbeat. Okay, thank you very much for joining, and see you guys next time.